Welcome back to DM-Nastics, the gym for dungeon masters to work out their minds. I'm one of your hosts, DM Neil, aka Jote Maniac.
And it's me, your other host, DM Celeste, aka Sea Witch.
And today, we will be talking about Dayeimbe's Gold. And this requires probably a more elaborate explanation than you want to hear, listener. But once again, Celeste and I are going to discuss something that is very Californian. In the sense that the inspiration for this is a show called California's Gold. It's a public service show that was put on, and the host's name was Huell Hauser. He just loves life.
Yeah.
He could take the most mundane, boring, random thing that's ever existed and make it sound like the best thing that has ever happened to him in his entire life.
It's truly a rare talent and strange to behold.
Yeah, he took several runs at the concept of just going through California to the most random hole-in-the-wall towns and just talk to them about their stuff. And once he narrowed it down, he proceeded then to get funded for the better part of 500 episodes of California's Gold.
That is incredible. Incredible.
Including coming to my own town of 50,000 people. That's the level to which this guy's going around. And that's probably one of the bigger towns that he went to. I don't know how to even begin to explain this man to you, so please.
Sort of like a Bob Ross of travel, I guess.
Yeah.
Just very enthusiastic. Yeah.
I will have a link to a very specific episode because it is the one that I watched to remember who this man was. And in the earliest moments of this episode, he proceeds to look the camera dead in the eye, camera that is shaking the entire time, which is very funny to me. The budget is not large for this show.
That's how you can do 500 episodes.
Yeah. And he says, and I named this episode 2 places I've always wanted to visit in California, but never had the time to get to until now. And both of these places are fine examples of California's Gold.
Incredible. What a way to name
with no satire, with no humor, just as serious and excited as could be. That's the name of the episode.
That's over 30 words in an episode title. Incredible. That's what we need to name this episode.
No.
We'd break Spotify.
Yeah, we'd break most of them. I don't think Podbean would allow it.
No.
Where we host the podcast. And every service that picks it up would be like, no, absolutely not. So, in light of this, there's also something that used to happen on D&D's official podcast, the Dragon Talk, that was out for quite a while. Shelley Mazanoble and Greg Tito would do something occasionally where they would basically go into D&D Beyond, hit random, it would generate a random character that they would then make an NPC. I'm combining these two. So we're going to make a random NPC for Dayeimbe and just for you, the listener, to be able to use. But I'll have a link to this character sheet in the show notes as well, because I have an account that lets me make mini characters. So you will be able to access whatever awful thing comes out of the
random generator gold.
Woof. I've done it before. It's something.
I have a friend who shows up to play tests, like one-shot play tests I run for things. Always the play is make a random character. He plays whatever comes out. It's a look.
Perfect. And it's how I typically do DMPCs. Like if I'm in a pinch and need something, because there are levers that we can choose, select. Like I could choose what level I want. I could choose what class I want. Typically, that's what I do when I quickly need a DMPC to join the party. I know what level they are. I know what class I need roughly. Go. Everything else is fine. We're not doing that. We're not selecting anything.
No breaks, baby.
No. Everything is open. So prepare yourself.
Yes.
I did previously do it, but I have undone it. So neither Celeste or I know what is about to happen.
What we're opening in this random pack.
So let's lift the mental weights right now.
Lifting weights is what I do. Look at me. Lift these weights.
Okay. On the count of 3. 3, 2, Dayeimbe's Gold.
Watch it be the most normal, like, human.
I don't know. Okay. I believe everything checked as well. Oh, what does that mean? What is that? I forget. This is an important thing that I also forgot. I have everything inside of D&D Beyond. And when I tell you everything, I mean every
So it could be like third party content too then. Yeah, probably.
Oh, I'm sure it is, because I'm going to link to you now.
What? We don't even know what it is. Here we go.
I didn't know that was a class.
Here we go. Oh, an orc treasure hunter. What?
So we are now looking at the level 7 orc treasure hunter named Kuriner.
Yes.
So that's a thing that's about to happen.
Okay. Well, okay, languages. It speaks Darkul is one. That's one I recognize from a Cobalt Press lineage.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know Nordmarian. Oh, apparently also Darkul. Oh, it's an Acolyte Baldur's Gate background language choice. It also speaks Westron and Nordmarian. No idea. Whoa, where did this even come from? This is wild. Oh, it's one of the Lord of the Ring classes?
This is wild.
Yeah.
So when we do this is okay. This is both has its positives and its negatives.
Yes.
Because with the idea that I have access to everything, I think it lends itself so much better to the idea of creating an NPC because of what's going to happen every time. Yeah. It's not going to be your standard set of characters. It's not going to be your standard set of classes per se. So we have an orc treasure hunter in front of us. So they have now joined the world of Dayeimbe, and they are level 7. So they've seen some things.
They've seen a lot of things at this point.
So what is the first thing that jumps out at you? I know you've dipped a little bit into some of the languages. So, and you are definitely going to be more familiar with one than I am.
I'm just kind of looking at this treasure hunter thing, because honestly, I've never opened I know they made the Lord of the Rings classes, but kind of looking at like what we have in front of us for features, it sort of looks like a hybrid rogue kind of type, because they've got a lot of like sneaky stuff going on, but then they also have things like adrenaline rush, which is like kind of a wild thing, and you're dodgy, weak spot, right? So it's a sneak attack thing. So I don't know. I mean, this treasure hunter, like, he's got kind of a roguish, criminal vibe, I think, going on. Or we could go a different way and be like, I mean, this guy is sneaky, cunning, so maybe this is sort of like a Tomb Raider or Indiana Jones situation. Like, you just gotta be in there, like, in these situations to survive,
It's interesting because it feels like the treasure hunter is going to be very akin to Bilbo, because some of the features are close fitting for armor, which is like old school adamantium.
Yeah.
Because it negates critical hits and turns them into normal.
Yeah. And he's got a lot of stuff on here that's kind of interesting. Yeah. It's like cunning made armor. So yeah, it's half its normal weight. Yeah. So this is totally, basically playing a hobbit, but we've got an orc here, so a much bigger hobbit, burlier. Yeah, and then looking at their like proficiencies and stuff too, you've got things like insight, perception, persuasion, stealth. So I mean, this is also, with the insight and persuasion, this is a talky guy. This is pretty charismatic. Also, oh man, look at his ability scores. He's got +6 intelligence, which is wild, but a +0 wisdom and +2 charisma. So he's pretty good at talking, not very perceptive, which for a treasure hunter, oh no, but highly intelligent. So maybe he's like a scholar of some kind. He's like the expert, you bring along on treasure hunting missions, like the relics guy, the information guy.
But the funniest thing is, once you start coupling in the features that come from orc, you have dark vision, which means you can spelunk no problem. and you have powerful build, which is the funniest thing for a treasure hunter because you count as one size larger when determining your carrying capacity and the weight you can push, drag, or lift. So boom.
So he's the guy who comes in, he knows stuff, answers questions, and then he hauls the treasure back out. They load it on, and he just relies on everyone else to really, deal with the more dangerous aspects of things. His job is to get in there, answer the questions, solve the puzzles, stand back, and then run out with the loot. So this sounds like if for an adventuring party, like if this guy was an NPC, this actually guy sounds really helpful. He's not going to be the guy who's like there on the front lines with you, but somebody that you could hire to, fill in all the other gaps that are important and people tend to think about for dungeon, crawling, the knowing stuff and the, oh my God, how do we get all this loot out of here?
So one of the things I think about like meeting this character is very like my first thought is they are already there. If you're in a dungeon delve, if you're in like deeper caverns, if you're doing something, it's a very interesting character to have just show up.
Yeah.
Especially depending on which kind of campaign you're doing. What are the preconceived notions about orcs?
Yeah.
And then having a 16 for intelligence and having all these other things and just seeking treasure, which is also that's a boon that immediately goes to the side of this character to say, oh, I know right where the treasure is because I've been hunting it. I've been looking for it. I can help. If you help me, I'll help you. That's the vibe I get right away if I'm trying to introduce this character to my players. And they're just showing up and they're already there. Because is it something if they like, because the other thing could be it's if they're an individual, they've already butted up against something they can't pass by themselves.
Yeah, man. But plot twist, Neil, I was looking through the features and traits and apparently this guy has something called Shadowpath Dragon Sickness, which is like a curse thing that's affected them. So adventurers who find themselves on the road to seek lost riches run the risk of catching the age-old disease of like wanting to hoard gems and like being driven to seek these things, and they like are obsessed with it. So it says here, apparently this feature is called Bout of Madness 1 Grasping, which, I mean, there's some problematic stuff there, but if you become grasping, you seek to accumulate gold and precious items above all else just for the sake of possessing them. So this is like, this guy on the surface is like, oh, cool, super fine, but like, he's desperate, right? Because he's like got this growing affliction to like, he needs someone to help him like get in there and get the treasures that he can't reach.
Yeah.
Cool. It's a story built right in.
Then you want to talk about immediately throwing wrenches. And this is what happens when you do random. So if we click over to background, what's very interesting is it's a Baldur's Gate acolyte. So feature Shelter of the Faithful. Mm-hmm. And then the bonus feature, the Baldur's Gate feature, the bonus feature is a religious community that they fall back on. Yeah. So as an acolyte, you command the respect of those who share your faith, and you can perform the religious ceremonies of your deity.
Well, I mean, for that, Baldur's Gate has a thriving Thieves Guild community, and there are actually several gods devoted to thievery in the mix. So what I imagine that this is like, he worships, one of these chaos gods of gold and thievery. So I can totally see this religious community being like, oh, this is actually my, it's my Thieves Guild that has like is tied to sort of one of these religious things. Like we steal in honor. Maybe it's a whole group of like rogues that are thieves and cut purses, but there's some like rule they have to give, 10% of whatever the tithe to the church. And like, that's how it works, for them.
Okay. Have you ever heard of the British game show called Taskmaster?
I have heard of that before. I don't think I've ever seen it though.
Okay. So this lends me the perfect setup for exactly what you just described.
Nice.
Because there's the Taskmaster who then gives tasks to the contestants and guests. And they're typically celebrities and things like that. So oftentimes though, one of the things like that the Taskmaster says is like, present to me like the most like but it's like the scariest thing for you to have obtained.
Yeah.
Is like, show me that. Oh. And the one that I just saw it just pops up and it's a picture, but it's just a picture of a pair of pants.
Okay.
And the guy's like, yes, Taskmaster, I thought the scariest item that I could possibly take were your pants. And he's like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah.
And he proceeds to describe, he's like, well, do you remember when you were at this show at this location? Yeah, and I lost my pants.
That was me. That's incredible.
He's like, yeah, you did. And the taskmaster was like, yeah, because all I could think was like, I don't really want to tell anybody because who loses their pants? Mm-hmm. And so I think of like that, like part of like what we're describing, like that religious ceremony of like presenting the thing that you've stolen, but you're not giving it.
No,
you're not. There's no coffer at this place. There's no offerings. There's just presentation of like
it's the act itself that is done in honor to the gods, as opposed to it's sort of like Dionysus gods or like satyrs, right? Like partying is the religious thing, so you throw bacchanalian festivals and engage in that, and that's what it's about. You do it in honor of these gods. I love that.
I like it. Yeah, building this deep desire to obtain things, and does it go too far, or is it just part of this like this thief-built religion? Is it? But this is obviously dead set on needing to get an item.
Yeah.
And depending on what kind of party you have, the back and forth between
this could be this could go sideways real quick.
It's like a magic item, and obviously every party's going to say no, thank you.
No, you cannot have this.
Mm-hmm. Notes, extra, background, features and traits, inventory.
Yeah, I'm like looking up some of these languages, and I can't even find them in the search engine. I don't know what they're from. This is wild.
The Nordmarian is from Dragonlance.
Okay. Westron is the name of the common tongue in the Lord of the Rings universe. I did not know that. Huh. You learn something every day. I'm sure there's people, listeners, like, you didn't know that. No, I didn't. I have a lot of fantasy names in my head. And now we know.
It's a jumbled mess up here.
It's a mess.
I knew anything. Yeah.
I can tell you a lot of stuff about dragons, but...
And the Nordmarian is... The Nordmar is a human nomadic nation in the northeastern Ansalon.
Okay, so, maybe this is also a planar traveler guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been to the world of, Dragonlance and Baldur's Gate, apparently, and, Middle Earth. Plane hopper.
Hey, everywhere has treasure.
Everywhere's got treasure. You gotta go where the gods tell you to go. Find a portal, get it.
And also, what is a quotus?
Yes, so it says under tools, so tool proficiencies, quotes, quote, Quoits. Quites? What in the world? Okay. What?
Oh,
honestly, this is an exercise in just learning things about.
You're not ready for what this answer is. It's like a stick game with rings.
Whoa! A ring of rope, iron rope, or rubber thrown in a game to encircle or land as near as possible to an upright peg is the British English definition. Okay, so this is like a gaming set.
It's like horseshoes. Yeah. It's like a different, like it's different, but the base concept is horseshoes.
What in the world? What book did this come from? This is so random. Oh my God. Okay.
This is why we do it.
All right. This is just a good way to learn all the material that you have in D&D Beyond, I guess. Wow.
But this is why I've done this. This is why I thought this would be an interesting concept, because one of the things about creating an NPC is having something that stands out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be all of these things. Like this is our example here is an over embellishment of this individual, but having any one of these pieces be the part that stands out or the part that stands out for your table. Obviously they could just be playing this game.
Yeah.
And that is something that they have available to them. Heck, that could be what they're just sitting there doing because they can't figure out what to do next in their pursuit of the treasure. And they're just waiting. You walk up to them. They're playing the quotus. And you're like, what is
this
that
game?
And that's a conversation starter. But that's also a very memorable moment to describe to your players first meeting this NPC.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there we go.
That's Kuranar, the orc treasure hunter.
And like I said, there'll be a link to their character sheet in the show notes, and I'll try and flesh it out a little bit more. There's some pieces and parts that I can still select, so I'll make sure I get those done so that when you click on it, it will be a full character ready to go.
Quotes.
But with that, if you enjoyed this episode so far, then you can leave us a rating or review at Apple Podcasts or your podcast of choice. And of course, if you have a random NPC that you've added to your world, you can always tell us about that at dungeonmastersblock@gmail.com. And of course, if you head over to social media, good on you. And you can find us at DMS_block. That's DM's block. You can find me at JoteManiac.
Yeah, and you can find me at C. Conowitch, and for everything else on the network, check out blockpartypodcastnetwork.com. And as always, a huge thank you over to the Bards on Bombarded for our intro and outro music. You can find out more about Bombarded at bombardedcast.com.
But with that, let's head to the post-workout cooldown and stretch with The Light Bulb.
Light bulb.
Okay, this is somewhat serendipitous in that the item that I have selected, that I was prepared to select and already have had, goes with what just happened so much more than I could have ever expected. I am not going to tell you more because I'm going to send you a link.
Okay.
I'm going to have you click on it. And I'm going to have you see what it is.
Okay.
And we'll get your genuine
Is it
reaction.
my own quote set? I'm so ready.
I could. I already found one. I could send you a link to that. No, it's absolutely not that. It gives up the ghost immediately in chat.
Wow, very cool. Oh my God, it's perfect for our lock. A D20 lock and pick. Whoa, this is so cool.
So what I found, because finding the particular set of dice is something that can really attach an individual player to the game in a very specific way that is this weird, non-quantifiable, nebulous thing.
It's like a magic thing. It's just a magic thing.
It is. If they have the right set of dice, that player is likely in more than every other player combined in a very, very interesting way. So one of the ways to do that is finding class specific type dice. And I found earlier a rogue specific. So from Tycoon Games, there's the Polyhero Rogue D20 Lock and Pick set.
This is really cool. I've seen weird dice, things like this before, like potion bottles and whatnot, but I really like how this is it's a spin counter. So you put the thing inside. It looks like a nice solid, it's a flat bottomed, looks like a padlock. So it won't actually move around a bunch, and it feels like this is actually really manageable and something I would use. Unlike some of the wild sets I've seen out there, which seem really cool but sort of impractical.
Yeah, so your basic setup is basically you have what is a top.
Yeah.
A functioning top that has the 20 numbers on it, but you can put that inside of a lock that then holds it correctly and looks like a lock with a lock pick actively in it. Then you spin it, and whatever shows up in the little window display is the number that
is the number
20. And you basically you have a lock and pick set that you use as your D20.
Wow. Ooh, I really like that they have a bronzy colored one too. So it looks a little, more like burnished metal, or the iron one. It's black with the white letters. This is cool.
This is also a super fun way that the other thought I immediately had is this is a very fun way for any time that there are locks that need to be picked.
You can just put this on the table.
Yes, that this is the one that you use when locks are being picked. Just in the same way that I have the giant metal death saves dice from death saves when they were still around, where literally it just has skulls for fails, ampersands for successes. That's it. That's all that's on there. And so it has one purpose, and everyone knows when it comes out.
And it's because it's scary. It's scary to roll. It's heavy. It makes a big noise. It's terrifying.
So yeah, this is very much, super fun for either your rogue or whatever character is already picking locks, or anytime you're going to need a lock picked. This is a super fun way to do it.
Very cool.
But yeah, we'll link it down in the show notes as well. And you can head over to Tycoon Games directly and buy it from them. But with that, we'll turn out the lights and head out of the gym. But before we go, I want to implore you, the listener, to join the forums, the Discord, social media, and anywhere else you can find us and take part in these challenges, exercises, and other amazing conversations being had.
To do that, head over to bit.ly/DM banter and try some DM-Nastics so your players don't ask, do you even lift?